This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design. Kiwi is the leader in Oculus Quest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast.
The Oculus Quest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever find things could be a bit more comfortable, maybe a little safer? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and so much more.
And let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. You don't want to be that guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes now to prepare yourself today.
And you don't need to sacrifice comfort for cost either. Kiwi is constantly running promotions of 20, 25, and even 30% off.
Just visit the link in our show notes and use the promo code on their website to take full advantage of your savings. And be sure to follow the link in our show notes so we get credit and you help support the podcast. And remember, Kiwi has you covered for... Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. Today we're joined with another, great game development team, the team behind Drunkn Bar Fight.
This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, this is one of the most hilarious games on the Quest store.
Plus stress relief.
Stress relief, come on,
Stress relief.
That's a very underrated aspect. So today we're joined with Thais. That's the community manager of the team behind Drunkn Bar Fight. So my friend, do you mind to introduce yourself a little bit to our guest and also tell them a little bit more about Drunkn Bar Fight in case they haven't, gotten to enjoy this hilarious one?
Sure. Hey guys, the community manager from Drunkn Bar Fight, the stress relief game, the best one in my opinion. Drunkn Bar Fight is a VR game where you fight people not only in bars but also in a supermarket, in police station, airport, a lot of places with a lot of guns, different guns with bottles, everything you want. So yeah, that's it. Play it right now. If you don't play it, if you haven't played it, go play it.
Yeah, no, it's a hilarious one. And you mentioned that there's a lot of different environments in it, not just a bar. There's a couple different bars. You have now an airport. You have a police station, some back alleys.
I love the supermarket though.
You have the supermarket.
It's crazy good.
That's where we turned it up to the umpteenth level. So for yourself, there's all these different environments. Do you have a favorite one to go, beat people up a bit in?
I would say the airport. The airport is my favorite one. Bar five, bar five, because we have the glue gun, which can be used to glue everything. For example, you can glue the hand of the NPC to their head. So for me, it's my favorite. My favorite.
And that's the
In
most
market,
recent.
yeah.
That's actually
Yeah.
the most recent updated one also. So that makes total sense. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. And you were gonna flaunt the market as well.
Yeah, that's
the
where
supermarket.
I think me and Stratus may have killed some people.
That's where I got the most violent. The bar fighting was like legit, crazy bar fights.
Yeah, you smash a beer over somebody's head.
The supermarkets where it's like the sadistic side started to turn it up a notch for some. I don't know what it was for some reason. So yeah, I can see where each of the updates. And God bless them for making more updates. But
yeah, we reference that the airport's the newest one. If anybody's, played this game, 6-7 months ago, maybe a year ago, and they haven't played it since, the
there's
airport's
been a couple
brand
updates
new.
since the past year. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to tell our listeners, exactly what came in this airport update besides the obvious airport location and a glue gun that you can get kind of creative about?
There's a lot of weapons that you can play right now. The glow gun itself, the drone is one of the most favorite by our community too. There are the map itself and some NPCs that are brand new and exclusive to the map too. And also when you start a game, you can join the airport through a taxi. So there's a new spawn location too. So yeah, there's a lot of new things. So go check it out. The airport.
That's awesome. And is this the final update for Drunkn Bar Fight, or do you guys have a bunch more coming too? Do you have a lot more planned?
Yeah, a lot of plans for the future. I cannot say it yet, but
I
we
respect
do
it.
have.
I do want to ask though, do you know what the process is like when they're coming up with the new ideas for like a location, like to choose an airport or anything that was outside of that the original tavern and bar that you can fight in.
Yeah, how do you come up with these ideas? Are they fan feedback, or is it you guys sitting in a meeting going, where can we
lay down some
beatings?
Yeah, both options. We are always asking our community to say, okay, which maps do you want us to do? So we can, always make sure we are um, making everybody have their own bars, let's say, to fight. And we want to make sure that our game is not only bars. We know it's Drunken Bar Fight, but we we want everybody to have fun in a lot of places. So yeah, we are always asking our community. Um, like the Discord itself, we have a suggestion tab where people are always saying like, okay, now I want a airport. Airport was one of them we heard about. The subway or um, which are the questions? I remember some people said the subway station. I want a subway station.
I'm sure it's hard to
Uh,
remember every spot that people.
Well, no, and so also people should know that it's not like your community is a small group of people. It's a humongous, vibrant community.
Yeah, if anybody's
Especially
not
on
on the
social media, it can be a little ridiculous. So.
yeah, the Discord community in specific for Drunken Bar Fight is very active. So when she's talking about suggestions and stuff like that, don't think it's just one person a year dropping
yeah,
a
No,
location.
it's got to be constant. You know what's ironic though is like if the bulk of suggestions is like airports, subways, bus stations. It's like these are people in real life who travel by bus, subway, and air travel, and they just wish they could beat the living crap out of everybody for whatever reason. I mean, we've all been there. You just wish you could snap, but you can't.
Well, some of what appeals about VR is doing the things that are impossible in the real world.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you go to an airport. An airport is the
can be a
most.
nightmare.
And also, it's like the most secure, locked down. There's TSA. You're not throwing down a fight in the airport. You'll never fly again. So it's like it's so taboo to do it in VR. People get in bus station fights all the time, but in the airport, ooh, you get
yeah.
to cross off that thing that you'll never do.
Fly, travel. No, it's
So,
just ironic though that the bulk of feedback, it's from people's real life
yeah, they're not asking to
experiences.
fight in a cage. They're
We're on
not
a
asking
beach.
for
I want to fight on the beach.
no. They're asking for where they get their actual frustrations.
What stresses me out the most and what'll make me de-stress when I got to do it in real life tomorrow. No, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we reference this game's all about the fun. It's hilarious from start to finish. If no anybody's never played this, we did a review of it as well. But
The physics, dude.
the physics in it, but also the characters. Like they're so based off of like stereotypical. You have your hipsters, you have your bodybuilders. It's hilarious. Uh, what inspired this game? How did the team come up with this idea? There's so much internet culture in it, so many little like meme jokes. How did this game come to fruition?
Actually, you just got it right. Like, so our game is to make things we would not do in real life, but the imagination, like, oh, I'm so stressed out. So that was by far the most iconic idea we continue to have until nowadays. The airport itself, when we are like with all these rules we need to follow, and in our head we're just like, oh my god, I just can't take it anymore. So that is the most I do.
Ooh, and just now we are joined as well by Edu, the
Yep.
game designer of Drunken Bar Fight. So now,
Hello, guys.
You missed all the good
Yay.
stuff we were saying. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Can you guys hear me all
Yeah.
right?
oh yeah, we
Yeah.
hear you nice
Perfectly.
and good.
It's so
Good
good.
picture, good everything.
Yep, good audio.
We're
So
only just under 10 minutes in, so we haven't
Yeah,
gotten
come on.
too deep.
Okay.
We've been talking with Thais over here for the listeners who are going to listen to this. We've been talking to Thais, and now we're joined with Edu again. Thais is the community manager for Drunken Bar Fight, and now we have a game designer, so now we can get some good input there. But Thais kept us plenty entertained. We've talked a little bit about the new airport location. some of the
stress relief into taking violence into areas in life such as airports and.
But since we're joined with you now, do you want to take the opportunity real quick to introduce yourself to our listeners and tell them a little bit about who you are and exactly your role in the game?
Sure. Hello, guys. I'm Edu. I'm the game designer, and my work is generally I design the items. I kind of design the levels as toys for you to be insane. Like what we usually expect is that you go into places where people are having a real good time, and then you ruin their day in the most creative ways you can think of. So I try to come up with scenarios where ruining the day of someone else is very fun, and it usually is.
No, we're saying how stress relieving it actually is at the end of the day, because you can go in there and we're taking it deeper into like community feedback, saying that they want locations that people typically get stressed out in real life, like an airport, subways, trains. It just the psychology behind it's pretty interesting. How it must have been really, because this game's been around for a long time. It's not like it came out yesterday. So, but I mean, it must have been funny as hell when you were making it and everything was coming together and you were punching the people and grabbing them and shaking them. And people got to know the physics of this game are pretty hysterical.
Yeah, it's true. What we usually realize is that sometimes we feel that we are creating a playground for people to to buy as it's like an asshole simulator, so they can just be as much of an asshole as they want. But what we usually find out is that what we are creating, and Thais, I think you will agree with me on that because you're on the community end. We are kind of creating like a bonfire for people to gather around and start telling stories of their own craziness.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, we were definitely hiring up the community support or love for this game is like a little next level. It's not, we had mentioned before you popped on, it's not a dead community. It's not like a handful of 4 or 5 people. You were saying your phone will blow up over 100 times a day.
Yeah, did not stop Discord messages.
Yeah, so it's cool to see and I was actually shocked because sometimes when a game has been around for a long time, you're shocked at the response from the actual game people themselves in the community. Sometimes it just kind of dries out, and then I see you guys just popping updates, and it's like, wow, this is, where's the end zone for this game? But now we're finding out we're assuming it's gonna keep going and going and going.
Yeah, we're very lucky on that because people are insanely supportive and they know exactly what they want and what they expect, and they make sure to tell us in many different ways.
Yeah.
Oh, I can only imagine some of the, I can see what's publicly said on the Discord, but I can only imagine some of the private messages you guys get of, hey, include this in the game, or this would be a good idea. I can only imagine.
I mean, overall though, it's like there's a lot that is included with the interactivity, and not everyone who's hearing this would have necessarily have played
but
owns it, but it's like there's so many interactable objects that you can beat the bejesus out of people with,
and variety of humans that are, like I referenced before, kind of modeled after memes or people that, stereotypes of people that you would meet before, a hipster or something like that. I mean, you go do the same level, you're not going to see the same group of people the whole time. You're going to beat up a whole new group of people.
No, and the different words you're hearing from the different.
Yeah, that's one of the best parts. Is like, so you load into the bar.
Yeah, you really love the
dialogue.
The dialogues coming from the NPCs.
Because we usually play multiplayer with this, so sometimes we'd go into the bar and we'd go, all right, which guy are we going to fight first? And we kind of sit there and just listen for the most annoying dialogue and go, well, that's the one.
Who sounds like the biggest douchebag. That's who I'm punching with the beer bottle there.
So something I'm dying to know is how big is the team working on this game? Is it a team of 25? What's the number behind it?
That's not. That should be an easy answer, but it's not quite, because the game changed a lot during its development time. So in the early beginning, it was basically one programmer and one artist, and they worked together on creating the first new level, the first levels of the game. And then, as we started porting it to other platforms, so it went to PSVR, and then it went to Quest. We started adding more people, and then we started adding new content. So that's when the team started to actually growing a lot. So right now, if you go to the credits screen, there's like over 70 people who worked in the game throughout its lifetime. But at any given time, you have around 15 people, 15 to 20 people, and I have to say they are superheroes. Like they are so cool. They are absolutely the best part of working this project is to work with people who kind of turn the battlefield into a dance floor, and they're so cool. We have this localized people in a company in São Paulo, VR Monkey. So programmers and the QA team is localized in São Paulo, and then we have one artist that is in Poland, who is from the original game, and we have a writer who is based in the US, and then we have the product owner who is also based in the US, and he's a very creative, important part of the team as well. So yeah, 15 to 20.
No, that's pretty actually in the VR world. That's actually pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, that might not be big for what people expect with like AAA console games,
No.
but there's a lot of times we talk to developers and we'll hear 3, 4.
But it started with those two,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And for you, when did you hop on the project? Were you one of the first two, or did you hop in, pretty recently, a couple years ago?
I joined on January 2020, right before the apocalypse started happening, and I went to do some updates on. We did a Black Friday level, and after that, the team also did a police station and then the airport, and now we are started working on another one. So I joined 2 years ago.
Nice. And what about you, Thais? When did you hop into this party?
I joined it in January, like right now. I'm really, really recent, but yeah, I'm already loving to work with not only the game itself, but also with the team. The team is the best. So I'm a baby. I'm a baby drunken bar fighter, but
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 a
I'm
bar
here.
fighter nonetheless.
Yeah, and I think it's
But that's too humble of Thais, because after she arrived, everything changed forever.
Thank,
Because now we started having direct contact with the community. That's
I
very
was
Yeah,
good.
I was
thank
gonna
you.
say,
yeah, me too.
hats off for having a community. It's an
Underrated.
underrated and underlooked position that can really make a huge. I mean, I'm a believer personally that developers probably shouldn't do the talking for their own game and should have.
Like direct to the community in like a Discord type
Because
event.
sometimes the passion might be a little too much, or they might take something too personal with a comment,
When
and
you have
might
these
say something
anonymous
you can't
faces.
unsay something in the internet. So it's like to have that person that can just keep things positive and let people know good things are happening. So kudos to you guys for doing that. And you got a fantastic community manager, and the community would probably speak
thank
for
you.
that. So
Yeah, it's important. There's a reason you see, every big VR game studio. What do they have? Community manager.
and not even the big ones. I see some little ones
Yeah,
now that are going. It's worth the investment to have somebody that's full time to be able to really keep the community involved and keep it fun and clean and non toxic. And no, kudos.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's an honor. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
So you are underrated when you speak of yourself.
Oh,
That's awesome.
yeah.
And it's understandable if you two aren't able to speak too much on this, but of course I gotta ask: is there any other projects the Munky, the team behind Drunkn Bar Fight, that you guys are working on, or is it full steam on Drunkn Bar Fight?
It's
You don't have to answer that.
it's an interesting question.
Mysteries.
I think things are happening, right? We make games.
Yep.
So
Yeah, if that says
sure.
enough, no worries, no worries. No, I'm excited because
Speaks volumes.
yeah, I mean, like we had some multiplayer issues for this that have since gotten better in the last update too, but it's like the game's fun. It's a game that you want to play with a friend. You want to go out to a bar with a friend and choke slam some strangers and smash a bottle over their head. So earlier we had asked Thais what her favorite level is. She mentioned the new airport update because, gluing people's hands to their face and stuff like that. How is that not fun? But for yourself, what's your favorite level?
For the past few levels, we tried to come up with specific designs that we want to study and experiment. So on police station, we started experimenting with no before that on Black Friday, the supermarket, we wanted to experiment with having an arena filled with weapons. So if you go there, it's like a square with all sorts of stuff. On police station, which is the first level I worked on, uh, the concept was to be able to vandalize and play. So there's a lot of things you can wear and you can eat and you can spray paint. People usually, it's very popular to spray paint dicks on the walls. Like everyone does it. And
The super bad effect,
and
it's the first thing you do.
Yeah.
yes, there's a calling in our soul to draw dicks as soon as we possibly can.
You wanna do it.
On the airport, we started working with immersive thing. Like we wanted to have this ability to create side effects. So we have the glue and the magnet. So what I'm mentioning this because my favorite level depends on how what's the sort of thing I want to experiment with at that moment. I usually go to the rooftop, which is the one you can throw people off the balconies.
Oh, wow.
I think it's the first level where you can be truly an asshole. It's a wedding, and you can just
Yeah.
throw the people from the balcony. And I really like Police Station in the sense that the guy who wrote the characters, Seth, he did an amazing job of writing the most fascist assholes. So they will sell all sorts of weird things, and you go, yeah, okay, bring it on. It's time to hit a cop and face no consequences.
That's something that we had referenced before too. It's like to be able to do these taboo things that you can't fight people in an airport
and laugh about it
and
while
laugh
you're
about
doing it.
and be able to fly again. Like, that's something we said. You go choke somebody in an airport. You're not going on the next
No,
flight.
you're
I
on
promise you.
the next list to take a car forever.
Yeah, same thing. You go into a police station, you start throwing bombs at cops and stuff like that. You got big issues. But in Drunkn Bar Fight, you can go fight some fascist cops that are saying some ridiculous things. And again, man, for anybody who's never played this game, just before you fight anybody, just sit there
Oh, listen.
for just 2 minutes.
Just listen to the conversation.
And like, you guys got some really big back and forths, written. It gets pretty comical. I mean, at this point, how many different characters? I think in the description of the game, it says like over 30 different, character types. But do you know actually how many different characters there are in the game at this point?
I can make a quick calculation.
I don't have the real number.
It's 50, around 50 characters.
50.
And they all were all written by this one dude, Seth Kopchu, and he's very good at writing people that you hate. So, kudos to
I have a
him.
feeling Seth sits in a coffee shop all day with a notebook and goes,
But you know what I wonder? Are the NPCs visually based off of real people?
that Seth met. He's like, all right, dude, there was this one dude at the beach.
Because now I'm wondering if he's taken like the whole team and put them in there. What's going on there?
Yeah.
Some of them are based on real people. Like some of them that are small references. This started on the alley level. We started adding references to people, but they are generally references to memes and celebrities, so people can recognize. It's not only like an internal joke. Like we want people to go, yeah, that asshole. I want to beat him up.
All right, no, that's kind of what I thought.
I love it, man. I love it. I love games like this in VR that are all about the silliness, all about laughing, having a good time. And that's why I think, multiplayer for this game is so great because it's, it's one thing to do it by yourself, but everything's funnier with a buddy. So you have a buddy and you're just clearing out rooms. How are you not laughing? Especially the more creative you are, because you can kind of role play in this game.
It progresses. The more you play it, the more you because I remember the first time it
That's
was
a
more
good way
like
to put it.
it was
progresses.
yeah, you progress and you go from just the typical violence of punching
Yep.
to like,
Boop.
oh, a pool stick might work or a cue ball. Hey, I can throw cue balls, I can throw pool balls. And then you just start the creativity clicks. That's when you're dragging people across bars and choke slamming but it definitely will bring out
the best in you.
It'll bring out the best of the worst of you. It's one
Yeah.
of those. You could start all innocent and sweet, and no matter what, it's like for some reason it's something in VR. It's just like you're laughing about it.
Yeah.
But the physics, hats off to the physics, because I love the way the the characters respond when you shake them around
or the way you can pick up somebody that you've already KO'd and now they are your weapon.
meat shield them, beat them to death with other people. Yeah.
This is the best.
Yeah. All praise to the programmers on the physics, and both the original programmer Yang and also the team that is now led by the current lead dev Paulo Passos. They work so hard on this. Like I think we have 2 years left of hair, and then we will go bald forever. And they work so hard on the physics and on the items and to make them feel just right. So it's very interesting to hear you guys talking about it.
No, and again, this has been around for a while. This isn't like yesterday's news, and it still holds weight.
And
So
still updated, still has more coming.
yeah, it's weird because every time I know a VR game updates, I know no matter what, it's going to be a better game. It's just the way it works, and that's why when I started seeing, I think after we reviewed it, there was another update, or no, the police station had just came out or something, and then we updated it, and then we saw that there was going to be another update. We're like, my God, they're not slowing down. I had no idea that. So again, hats off all the programmers develop and the progression. I mean, it started with 2 people and a vision to go into bars and just have a good time, and now it's actually taking on more of a
25-person team. That's
50 plus characters. It's still
hundreds of weapons.
No one will confirm it, but we'll assume there's going to be some more stuff
content
coming, and so it's going to be more experiences and more creativity, and it's just friggin' awesome. So I mean, everybody that works on these should feel fantastic for what they've done.
And hopefully you guys don't lose your hair in a couple of years, at least 5 years.
Yeah, you got to keep it for another half a decade.
Thank you.
Keep it for as long as you can.
It's too late for some of us, but thank you.
So you mentioned that this game, it's been ported over to several different headsets. It was PC VR, PS VR, the Quest. I think I know the answer to this, but just out of curiosity, do you guys see, which platform has your biggest player base?
Quest.
Yeah.
By far.
Quest.
It took the word by storm.
So was porting the game to the Quest, and especially the release of the Quest 2, the last holiday sales of the headsets, we see in every game the player base has gone through the roof. Have you guys kind of seen an explosion of players in the last year or two since the Quest 2 came out specifically?
It's actually kind of insane. Like it, how if you see the graphics on what the Quest did, it's just crazy. Like we had PC as our main platform, and now PC doesn't even show up in when we compare all platforms. So it makes me wonder what's next for standalone devices.
Yeah, it's like people. I've heard people rant and rave that there's not a bunch of AAA, PC VR games coming out since the Quest came out. But how can you argue with that? Developers have to put bread on the table in the end. And geez, for to go from PC VR being the biggest hits, not even a speck on the graph. I mean, geez, that speaks enough to itself. That's amazing for the world of VR. To go from it's leaving the niche slowly. It's becoming a little bit more mainstream.
Oh yeah, it hasn't even touched this. I don't think the surface has been even scratched to the masses of people who will eventually get VR. It just, I mean, it's literally like at I think probably under 10%, maybe like 7% or something. So it's like, but the demographic of the VR user too is overall, I think, like in the 30s and higher. It's not necessarily as kids as you would think. Even console, I know, is now
Mhm.
shifted to more of an older demographic. So it's an interesting,
Well, I think that
time.
fits a game like this. This is a game that the older you are, I think the
The
more
more
you're going
you'll
to enjoy it.
appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you'd
because
be
the more,
70, you'll love this. This will be the best thing you ever had in your friggin' life. Like,
dude,
thank you.
this is a grumpy old dude's dream right here. Go everywhere and just lay hammers on people. That's absolutely
Yeah, and again, this game was one that I think when we got the Quest 2, it was like you're not going to avoid it on the store. It's like
one
you're
of the
gonna,
first you're probably going to grab.
yeah, it's there. It's priced decent enough. You're like, I got it.
Mhm.
I just got my damn Quest, and this seems to it's going to let me do something in the form of throwing a beating. It's not like you're getting killed, really. You don't have to. It's not causing you personal stress.
No, it's just fun. And so I got another tough question because I always got to ask. Uh, you know,
And no is always a fair
yeah,
answer.
no's fair as well, but just so I can get it off my list and everything like that. Um, I know you mentioned, that you're loving adding the features of, more interactability, the better, gluing items, everything like that. Are there more different types of features that you want to go with the game, or do you want to stick with, just new levels, pretty much the same formula you have now, just expanded? Or are there different game modes and features that you kind of want to explore as well?
Uh, yes, that's there's a part of this question that I think Thais can answer, which is what the community expects, because there's all this the physics and what they expect from their hands specifically, and so when we get to that, I will pass it over to you. But basically, we want to be able we want to enable the community to create more content. So things are coming in this direction. Like, what can we do for people to express themselves more? What can we do for them to? There's all this streaming community, and what can we do to improve what these guys are creating? And there's also some quality of life improvements in the game. We have to consider that Drunkn Bar Fight is an old game right now. It's and sometimes its age shows. So on the controllers and how things feel. So and that's the part that Thais has been hearing a lot, and we have some improvements to do. Thais, if you want to take over.
Yeah, for sure. The arms, we are working on it. People have been asking for so long about the games, and I agree with you. So for sure, that is one of our mainly things we wanna work on. And one of the things that people have always asked us, especially on Discord, is about a PvP option. We wanna so hard to work on that. People love PvP, so we want to focus on that too for the future, please.
That would actually be
Yes.
really.
Imagine an online battle royale. You just load in and there, not a battle royale like pop one side with, but like you just load in and it's like Royal Rumble WWE, just like everybody just there, just throwing hands. That would be the most comical shit in the
That's
world.
actually pretty cool.
I
Yeah.
didn't even think that would be possible or even on the books, but that is, man. I'll load into a.
No, if I had one selfish wish, it would be for a build your own bar. Like you
That
could
would be
drag
cool.
and drop whatever you want in there and be like, oh, I'm putting the glue gun in this. I'm going to do like have the space and then
Mhm.
you can decor it out or whatever.
So just to
That's selfish. That's just me.
in case anybody's never played the game, when you play the game, you kind of have like long stick arms. They're a little skinny. You look like maybe you haven't eaten some meals in a couple weeks, anything
You're
like that.
throwing knuckles.
Yeah, you're throwing hands in a bar. You're an alcoholic. You drink. You don't eat. But nonetheless, uh, what exactly? Just to specify, what's the changes that you're going to make with the arms? Are they going to become floating hands? Or are they just going to be more defined? What's the changes that you guys have in mind
Or
for
anticipate.
or anticipate? What are you playing around with?
Okay. Uh, right now is we want to improve the physics and how you grab things. So right now, if you grab a gun, for example, in the game, it will stick to your hand until it's out of ammo. This used to work in very old VR devices, but now that we have there's a lot more control on how you can grasp things in VR and what kind of gestures you can make. We are working to improve that. So how it feels to pick up objects in this game.
Understood.
This will lead us.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Keep
Sorry.
going. Didn't mean to cut off there.
This leads us to, if we are going to change how it feels to grab things, we eventually have to change how it feels to see your hands, like what are you seeing. So, as I said, the arms are too skinny. So, what can we do? Can we bulk it up? What can we do to make your physical presence more accurate to what your real presence is? This is very important in a fighting game, and we have a lot of experimentation done on that. But what we want to do is is to give you the gut feeling when you are punching, and you can actually feel that this is happening. So we are aiming for physicality.
Okay, I'm excited.
And now I'm excited. I'm real excited.
Wonder if there's
Yeah.
any. I wonder when the future will allow your MetaQuest avatar to be the character in the bar,
Oh, that would be
right?
freaking too much fun. One thing at a time, though. One thing. At
And imagine how much fun would it be, as you guys are saying that. Imagine not that we are planning to do anything, but
theoretically speaking.
if, theoretically
Just-
speaking,
just
if you could load the picture of someone else in the game, and the game like creates an avatar for them, so you can beat them up.
Oh,
If this happened, it could be pretty nice.
that is like the viral video creator's dream of like, I'm fighting Michael Jackson.
Fight
I'm
whoever you want.
Yeah. Fighting Hulk Hogan.
Registered trademark.
Yeah, registered trademark. That is freaking awesome. Or,
Well, I love the progression. Again, it's like it's evolving. The ideas are whether that ever happened or not. It's like it's gonna happen.
Well-
in somebody's game or somebody's world. It's
Let-
just the progression.
let's call it how it is. At this point, this is one of the more OGs of VR.
Well, you
and
got the experience.
definitely one of the OGs of the Quest. It's an established game. So sometimes you see these games and you go, how much are they still adding? And you guys,
That's my point. Yeah,
It's
go
not,
to the community, and
it's-
hence they got a very active community manager.
yeah, I think that you guys might be peaking now, all these years in. When did this game first come out again? What, like 2017, 2018?
Versions of it, early access started coming out in 2016 to 2017, 18, and it started forming into what it is today from 3 years now, so from 2019 onwards.
And it's just now hitting like maybe its best point. That's amazing to see.
Well, and that's the best point now for the current market of sales of headsets.
Yeah.
It's like as the next bulk wave of headsets come out, and
Mhm.
that's what I'm really interested to see is when the next generation of headsets come out. Not necessarily, even the Oculus or the Meta. It's like it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, standalone VR is
'Cause I know you
Only
guys are
gonna grow.
pushing. You all the developers we speak to always say the same thing. They're pushing that headset to the max. It's like it's not like we're leaving a bunch on the table and reserving a bunch of power or resources that it could have. It's like literally you guys put the squeeze on this thing. So it's incredible that it'll still update, get better. Sometimes even the graphics over time too. You see it in a lot of games. They just start improving over time. It's like, damn.
well, even if that's not like a graphical resolution, fixing the arms, enhancing the arms, that's absolutely a graphical enhancement. So even
Yeah.
in this game, we're seeing an example of it in the works.
No, and we've seen improvements to the functionality over the time of the game.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. This is actually, we go back and forth all the time of when do we review a game? Do we review a game right when it comes out, when we first start playing it? Do we wait a year before we review it?
Makes sense.
And it was like Drunkn Bar Fight was always one of those games. It's like, do we review it now or do we wait? And even when we finally did review it, it's like, shit, would we have been better to wait until the airport update came out, right after that?
Mm.
So it's like, this is a great example of, why we don't always review a game right when we first start playing it. Things get better, and it's not always fair to judge it on that initial first impression. So kind of a little off topic question. This is for both of you though. I'd like to hear this out of each of you. For most of us, we try VR at some point, and that's what sells us on it. You put on that headset, that first time you do whatever silly experience, you're looking back on it, it's probably nothing special, but that first experience that blows your mind. So I always love to ask for each of you, what was your first experience in VR?
Okay. Do you want to go first or me? I don't know.
No, please go.
Okay. My first ever I that I remember. I think it was when I was at my college. I was studying VR things actually, and I did a VR game. It was not a game, but it was experimental. So that was for sure my most remembered experience ever. Um, and then I remember when VRs were starting to become popular. I remember these ones that they are not VR, but for mobile devices, they're just a 2D version of VR. It's not a VR Oculus, but it was one of my first experimental stuff. But yeah, with the VR, I think my very first VR I used ever was the Vive itself. It was too heavy. I was like, "Oh my god, what? What is that?" And it was at high school, so yeah. Oh, I do. Hello?
Nope, he's back. We lost you for a second. It's all good.
And then for you, Edu, what was your first experience in VR?
Uh, it was in a game jam, and those guys were experimenting with VR, and I put it on. And what I saw, it was like just the standard image from Oculus Rift, just like the environment you go when you first put the headset on, and it was a little bit of a religious experience because I put that on and I watched my hands and I started turning to see the word, and when I remove it, I kind of forgot I was in a game jam, and that's when it hit me like I what I'm seeing here is like though that grassy hills on Windows wallpaper. Like that's only the wallpaper, and it gave me this experience. Imagine what a game on this could do. And the very second experience I had was I put it on my father, and he was already over 60, and I saw the same religious experience on him. So I think that experience, like seeing a person who never used any technological things in their life, having a emotional reaction to it, I think it was even more impactful for me than when I bought it.
Yeah, no, it's funny you say the home environment because when I got my Quest 2 and it loaded in and I did this, I was all scared shitless. And then it pops me into this home screen, I think the big like lodge room or something. And I literally spent probably 30 minutes just looking around. I couldn't freaking believe that I was seeing this with my own eyes.
Fully immersed.
Fully immersed. I made my fiance put on the head. She hates VR. She can't stand it. But even she admitted that like this is absolutely nuts. And then I knew instantly. I'm like, this is what, I'm in my young 50s, but I've waited like my whole life to feel this in a game. It's like this was supposed to be the end game. I never thought I'd live long enough to know. And that was just the damn environment. And I saw there were other environments, and I'm like, it's clean. Then they had the thing where you could sit on your own couch. And then
Now,
I'm looking at my fake couch versus my real couch, and I'm like, yeah, if they could map my house, I would take the fake one all day long.
and now social environments are coming to the home screen.
Yeah, but it was instantly life changing. Where I was like, yep, this is it. This is my thing.
Yeah, I think for most people who get hooked on VR, that's their first experience. They put it on and they go. There's so much
We
potential.
take for granted now. We actually look at things and critique and criticize when it's like really if the I don't care what it is we've ever talked about. If you put a headset on for the first time and that's what you saw, it's going to be pretty freaking huge.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing. No, I'm happy that I'm happy that people are willing to invest as much as they are into a market that doesn't scream I should go invest everything. Maybe I should go hit the console market or just stick to a PC market. Or so VR people are the risk takers. But you guys were like, again, 2016. I was back in the first what
Yeah,
PS VR.
PC VR. That's some
Yeah.
OG days. And I always another question I always love to ask too, but a lot of times the answer is nothing because I'm so busy after I just
I'm,
use a headset all
I'm
day.
burnt out.
Um, but besides working on your game, is there any other VR games that you currently do play, or is it one of those situations you work on VR all day? You're not really gaming afterwards.
I'm such a bitch for Half-Life, Alex. I just go there not to play, just to see their how they grab objects. And I'm such a nerd for interactions. Like, oh, so then you can shake a bottle and you can hear the liquid. Okay, we should do that. Uh, so I'm always looking for tiny interactions and tiny toys. On Reddit, there's a lot of very experimental developers, and sometimes they put their content on, and we can experiment with, like, these people are like on the very early days of aviation, where you had this guys experiment with like fake wings. Like that's what they are doing. They are experimenting with very weird and peculiar stuff, and that's my jam.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thais?
And talking about VR games, I love those games where you can build things. So and music. So I think you can imagine. I love Beat Saber. This
I knew
is
you were going to say that.
yeah. This was I think my first game ever actually in VR. I was so hyped up, and I was looking everybody that I knew that had a VR or had experience something with VR was they were always talking about Beat Saber and other music games, but this for sure is my favorite.
No, I think Beat Saber is definitely one that, like it or love it, you still should try it and play it and see what it's about. And it's active, you know. They
Yeah,
too
you're
are
gonna sweat, and
they're
I'm with
they're
you. Do
good with those financial DLCs.
yeah,
They are.
yes,
That's
and
where Beat Saber's got
their market down.
their market down.
And I'm with Edu. I'm a sucker for interactability. I know you are too. Anytime we're in any type of environment in VR, the first thing we do is what can we pick up
What can we touch?
and what can we interact with.
And can we hit each other?
Yeah.
That seems to be a common one. What happens if I try to hit you? Will it make a sound?
And it's usually followed up with about 5 minutes of just piss your pants laughter as soon as we figure out what we can and can't use. So I think that interactability is a very underrated gem in VR. I feel like I'm seeing more and more games be like, only the things that are needed for the game.
Are interactable.
And like,
Yeah.
I understand it because, you're pushing the headset to the max. The more that's you only so much you can do on the headset, but I'm a sucker for it. If everything's interactable, even the stuff I don't need, I'm probably going to have a great time. So I'm with you. I love that stuff.
Well, in Drunken Bar Fight, everything
Should be interactable.
everything is interactable, from the people to
Yeah.
the
The
to
environment.
plus, you can drink the booze too.
Mhm. I love to put somebody's head on the bar and just
Wipe it?
like a movie. Yeah, just do a
Just wipe it.
clean wipe across, and then you chuck them outside the bar door. Like, get the fuck out of here. Yo, we get into character while we're playing. Like
Yeah,
Stratus
I
said,
won't
it's progression.
I think that's exactly the power of VR, right? Like it's on your face, it's everywhere. You are in that world.
So definitely appreciate you taking the time with us. I think we could have gone easy 2 hours at the rate we were going. That was a blast. Is there any social media of yours you want to plug before you go? Anywhere that the listeners can follow you on, maybe Twitter or any Discord communities.
You want to talk about the community? Please do
Okay.
talk about that.
And one of the things you pointed out, the thing when the character is crying out of the bar, uh, I can say 90, almost 100% of the people that I that I watch uh, when they are playing is like, where do you think you're going? And take the NPC and take it out. So I think it's almost 100% of the people that I've watched. So yeah, that is a drunken bar fight effect on people. So yeah, the community, our Discord is open to everyone that wanna wanna show their opinions and suggestions, feedback bugs, or just have a talk, just to chat. So yeah, we are always open. And thank you so much for having us. This is a honor for us, and our team is perfect. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone from the Monkey, from VR Monkey too. And that's it for me. And do?
Yes. Uh, what I want to tell to people who are watching is that more is coming. Like every day, we are thinking of ways to improve this experience. We know the difference between an old game and a recent VR game, and we know that VR can do more than that. And there's so much love involved in this game. Sometimes literal love. It's amazing how many relationships started in the team of this game, and I think that's a
That's true.
reflection on the good vibes that we have when we are working on it. And yeah, the community is usually our our safety spot. Like when we release a game, and after all that stress, seeing those guys playing with the game, like seeing YouTubers playing with Airport, and having a great time with toys that we create. It's we developed a very strange relationship with that is intermediate by this game, and I think that's the dream. Like that's what we wanted to do when we entered in this industry. So yeah, uh, lots of love are coming to you guys, and it's coming in the form of better gameplay mechanics.
So, I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your day and check us out Wednesday.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a
See you.
really, really pleasure. Thank you. See you guys.